Hello and welcome to the Bears and Lions podcast. This is the podcast where we challenge our present by viewing our past. I'm a firm believer that our greatest future lies within the correct view of our past, because when you actually look at it, you're going to see that, you know what? Sometimes you gave it everything you had, and that was as much as you could. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Is I don't have any special lessons or anything like that, but I do want to share a little bit of what I can share with what I have at the moment where I am in life. I hope you'll enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side. You know, I really try to bring as much as I can into these podcasts and prepare and show a little bit about what I've done, some of the lessons that I've learned, some of my past. I try to always incorporate, the lessons that have helped me along the way, podcasts that I listen to, movies that I watch, songs that I listen to. All of it really impacts me. Books that I read especially have impacted me over the years. But there are a few things that I didn't learn from books, and a few things that I really hope that I can instill in somebody in my life that I got from somewhere else. And so today I want to talk to you about the 3 W's. This episode, it's called WWW, or the 3 W's. And you're probably wondering, what does that stand for? What even is that? Well, it's a what. It's also another what, and it's a where. And I grew up, I'm the middle child of 5, and I have 2 older brothers and 2 younger sisters. So I kind of was in the middle of madness in a way. My parents were incredible. My dad was amazing. I know that I'm blessed to this day to have the parents that instilled in us a really good work ethic. Some of the things that we did growing up, we mowed lawns at 13, and a lot of people have that story, but I was really appreciative of some of the things that we went through that they allowed us to go through. I moved out at 18 and ended up moving back at 20 after completely failing at adulting, and my parents were there the whole time, and my dad especially. We grew a lot closer during my 20s, and I'm really thankful for that. But one of the things that I look back on is the 3 W's. And my dad used to always tell my siblings and I to do what we could with what we have, where we are. And I've grown to appreciate those values more than gold itself. Because in life, you may not see the results that you wanted to see, right? Sometimes you lose, sometimes you fail, sometimes you have step backs or setbacks, and sometimes it's just tough. But if you know deep within your soul that you gave everything you could with everything you have, where you are in life, I can promise you, you rest a lot better at night knowing that, regardless of the outcome. And this episode, I really just want to highlight something about that. Is I have done a lot of exciting things, and I share stories about it. And I was sharing a story with a coworker this last week, and he was just like, "Man, that's a pretty messed up story of something that I had gone through." And I forget sometimes that I've done these things, and it feels normal to me, but it's not normal for everybody. And each person has those things that we've gone through that other people haven't. So our perspective is skewed in the best way possible to be ourselves. We shine a little bit brighter in areas. And it's the beauty of community. It's the beauty of growth and the beauty of being able to move together as humans. We get to know each other, and I may not be good at something that you're good at, and so you can outshine me and teach me and grow me in that area. Somebody might be way better at piano than me, and I'm terrible at it because every time I started playing when I was younger, I would break a finger playing basketball. My mom tried to give us lessons. I have a few siblings that are just insanely talented at music and art and things like that. And I always enjoyed art and whatnot. But every time I tried to play the piano, I would play baseball or basketball and I'd break a finger. But that's just, I share these things because really my heart is saying, you know what, I talk about a lot of lessons. I talk about a lot of studies that I've read and podcasts that I've read. But I have to remember that a lot of people haven't gone through the life that I've gone through. A lot of people don't have the parents that I had growing up. They're still around, thankfully. And I talk to them pretty often. But the biggest thing about it is that we started hearing that, my siblings and I, we started hearing, do what you can with what you have where you are at a very young age. That lesson has carried through to my teens when I was playing baseball and when I was playing sports and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. That would push me that extra little bit to chase after a foul ball and to run a little bit more in training and try to become a little bit better when I played lacrosse. It helped me when I was in my early careers and work, where I would stay a little bit later or I would get there a little bit earlier to make sure that I was doing everything I could to make it better. It's helped with management when I was in management because I would do everything I could with what I had and what was in my control. And I learned quickly there are so many things in life that are out of our control. And one of the big key things that I've walked away out of my 20s and into my 30s, I'll be 35 in less than a month, which is wild to think about. And I feel like I'm just starting over with this new job and a new career. And I've got a bunch of kids that are 20 and 24 and 25 and 26. And I say kids, I don't mean that in like a negative way, like, oh, I'm so old and they're so young. But it feels like a lifetime ago that I was going through those things at 24, 25, 26. It genuinely feels like a lifetime ago. I forget all the things that I've done in between that time. And that's just part of life. Real quick, I just want to say thank you for listening to the podcast. A lot of you know I post the audio version on Spotify and iTunes. Some of you may not know that I post the video version of this podcast on YouTube. And in 2024, I'm really focused on building the community engagement as well as the brand of the Bears and Lions podcast. So if you would do me a favor and just really quick, go hit like and subscribe on that YouTube. Share this podcast with a friend. It'll just take you a few moments to share it with your social media, and it would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for listening. Now let's get back to the conversation. And I look back, and one of the key things that I think of is doing what you can with what you have where you are. Those are the 3 W's. So what, where, right? Out of that process, though, it helps you understand that what you have or what you can is really relative to your situation, right? Because if you need to make rent and you don't have money and you don't have it, then you don't have it. So what can you do to get it? And I remember there was a time when I lived in Louisiana that I was really cutting it close. I was in the midst of a move. I had been really stressed out, hadn't really paid attention to my budget. And then all of a sudden I have this move and I have rent and I have bills. And it was like, what can I do? And I just remember playing it over and over in my head. Okay, I don't have something. So what can I do? Right? And where am I in my life? Well, I realized I could sell some things and I could make it work. So I did what I could with what I had where I was. And you know what? I made it. Well, years later, I did the same kind of mentality or same thing where I did what I could with what I had where I was. Up until just recently when I moved to Baltimore, I picked up door dashing on the side. On top of working my 9-to-5 job, I picked up door dashing to make a little bit of extra money to help save up for this move. And I look back on that and I didn't even think about that as something like, oh, wow, like that actually really helped. But I have a separate bank account from the money I made there. And recently I just started looking at it and realized, wow, I actually put away a little bit of extra that has really helped me out. Now, I wouldn't have done that without that mentality from my dad, and I'm very thankful for that. So this whole conversation today is just to help you think about it. Is where are you in your life, right? The where out of the 3 W's. Where are you in life? Are you in a place where you're happy? Are you in a place where you're encouraged and challenged and moving forward and motivated? Are you in a relationship that is healthy? And are you striving to build and provide in that relationship the things that you have, the things that you can? The second question is what can you do if you're not? If you're not in a place that you're happy, if you're not in a job that you love, if you're not in a, I don't know, car that you want, or a school that you wanted to go to, or a career that you wanted, okay? Where are you and what can you do about it? What do you have and what can you do about it? And I really want to challenge that, because lately I have felt like that mentality has popped back up in my life, and I've just realized, you know what, there are some days that it feels like I am 100% drained. And if I was just being candid with all of you, and I try to be as honest as possible, but I've had some really rough days, strange too, where it's just been this mental battle of a process of, I haven't been in the gym, and I haven't been doing the things that I know are healthy for me, and I haven't been doing the things that I can be doing, all because of a mental block, or a lot of stress and anxiety and work, and the desire to be successful in this job, right? The training is a long and very difficult process, and it's stressful. It's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy. I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, if you were in a different position, it would be so easy." I'm tired of that. I know it's going to be worth it, but it's just part of it, and I want to make sure that I'm being honest about that. That's why I've missed podcasts before, and I'll probably miss podcasts in the future, while I'm going through this. And I, of course, want to be as diligent as I can, but I have to remind myself to do what I can with what I have, where I am. And that's this podcast. I don't have much, and I don't have much to give, but I do have lessons, and I do have things that have really impacted me. And when I was just thinking today, what is the podcast even going to be about? I really sat down and realized, you know what, I don't have anything like special, and I don't have anything I've been studying lately. I don't have any special lessons or anything like that. And I realized, wow, you know what? I do have experience, and I do have a lesson that my dad has taught me. So the last thing I'll leave you with is, maybe you're in a spot like me, where it just feels like you're giving everything you have, and you feel like it's draining, and you feel like it's exhausting. And if you ever find yourself asking yourself a question that I asked myself this week, what more can I give? I don't have anything else to give. I've given all I can, or this is all that's left. I was reminded of the moments in my life where I realized, you know what? That's what it's about. You give what you can with what you have, where you are. And I'm thankful, because some moments, it's not always going to take 100% effort to cross the finish line. Sometimes it'll take 40, and other times it will take what feels like 200%. But at the end of the day, it's about giving an effort, because that effort shows you, most importantly, it shows you, but also it shows the people around you that you care. So this week, I just want to encourage you with what I have. Be as open and honest as you can with yourself, and say, hey, where am I right now in life? Am I doing everything I can with what I have? Maybe you're somebody who needs to challenge yourself or challenge your loved ones and challenge your friends and say, hey, I think we should start doing this. I think we need to start getting back in the gym. Of course, we could go to all the cliche things of like, oh, the gym and eating healthy and dieting and exercising and things like that. I'm just going to simply one up you and say, you may need to start challenging. We need to be kinder to each other. We need to stop ragging on each other so much. We need to stop calling each other those names. We need to build a community that is based on joy. We need to celebrate each other's wins a little bit more. We need to stop talking poorly about other people, even if it's celebrities and people we'll never ever meet. Maybe it's just about building a mentality of what you hope that people talk about you one day. I really hope that you'll find that encouraging. I know that this was a shorter podcast episode, but it's what I have, and it's what I can do, and this is where I'm at right now. Hopefully, I'll see you guys Thursday, and hopefully each and every one of you will have a wonderful week. Remember to give grace, show love, and as always, stay stellar. Peace.